And now it's time for Oedipal Earth.
Don't frack my mother. Don't frack my mother.
As a record-breaking sailor, Dame Ellen MacArthur has seen more of the world's oceans than almost anyone else. Now she is warning that there will be more waste plastic in the sea than fish by 2050 unless the industry cleans up its act. According to a new Ellen MacArthur Foundation report launched at the World Economic Forum, new plastics will consume 20% of all oil production within 35 years. That's up from an estimated 5% today. Plastic production has increased 20-fold since 1964, reaching 311 metric tons in 2014. It is expected to double again in the next 20 years and almost quadruple by 2050. Despite the growing demand, just 5% of plastics are recycled effectively. That sucks. While 40% end up in landfills and another 33% in fragile ecosystems such as the world's oceans. Much of the remainder is burned, generating energy, but causing more fossil fuels to be consumed in order to make new plastic bags, cups, tubs, and consumer devices demanded by the economy. Decades of plastic production have already caused environmental problems. The report says that every year, at least 8 metric tons of plastic leaks into the ocean, while it is equivalent to dumping the contents of one garbage truck into the ocean every minute. If no action is taken, this is expected to increase to 2 per minute by 2030 and 4 per minute by 2050. In a business as usual scenario, the ocean is expected to contain 1 ton of plastic for every 3 tons of fish by 2025, and by 2050, more plastic than fish by weight. The carelessly discarded plastic bags can break down in the sea, especially in warmer waters, but the process releases toxic chemicals that may be digested by fish and end up in the human food chain. Yummy. Research released a year ago found there were more than 5 tons of plastic pieces floating in the seas, many just 5 millimeters across. Larger items can be a threat to sea life, such as turtles and seals, which swallow them. And according to some reports I've seen, the smaller bits are swallowed in droves by the smaller fish. So, scientists have also found that countless tiny fragments drift to the bottom of the ocean, carpeting the seabed. The environmental and health impact of this is unknown. The report concludes that the plastic industry is comprehensively failing to address these issues. Dr. Martin R. Stuchty of the McKinsey Center for Business and Environment, who helped produce the report, said a wave of innovation could be transformative. That's true of almost any industry. Stuchty said plastics are the workhorse materials of the modern economy, with unbeaten properties. However, they are also the ultimate single-use material. Growing volumes of end-of-use plastics are generating costs and destroying value to the industry. After-use plastics could, with circular economy thinking, be turned into valuable feedstock for recycling. The plastics recycling industry is also reeling from the recent plunge in the price of oil. At $30 a barrel, it is more expensive to recover plastics than it is to use virgin crude to make more. Solving the problem will not be easy, especially as the industry is under pressure to produce more and to meet growing demands for emerging markets. Bioplastics are currently more expensive to make than petrol alternatives, and recycling systems are inefficient. MacArthur, who broke the record for the fastest solo circumnavigation of the globe in 2005, says fundamental reform is needed. Her vision is for a new plastic economy in which the industry, governments, and citizens work together to ensure that plastics never become waste and cut the leakage into our natural systems. MacArthur went on to say, linear models of production and consumption are increasingly challenged by the context within which they operate, and this is particularly true for high-volume, low-value materials such as plastic packaging. One part of the solution is to rethink the way goods are packaged, cutting the demand for plastic. Water-soluble film, for example, can be used to wrap small items. Hard-to-recycle plastics such as PVC and expandable polystyrene could be phased out. Manufacturers could redesign plastic items so they could be reused better and rethink the production methods to make recycling easier. More products could be made out of plastics which can be composted on an industrial scale. The report admits, however, that a moonshoot approach is also needed to create plastics that can be both recycled and composted. The report admits, however, that the moonshoot approach is also needed to create plastics that can be both recycled and composted. Currently, it is just one or the other. Other options are to develop biobenign plastics or chemical tagging to stop used plastics slipping through the system and into the sea. Under the sea.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
If you like this show, please go to facebook.com/Sovcast, sovcast.tumblr.com, or twitter.com/seeker, the letter O, Veritas.